Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book 91. I am sitting here with Sidney from Ready to Love. Yes, we are going to have one of those amazing conversations once again about her experience and her journey through Ready to Love. How you doing today, Sidney? You all right?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm alive
The
and
one
well.
and only. Lord.
Listen, it's good to have you on board, man. It's good to have you on here because
It's really good to be here too.
I love that. Thank you. I'm glad you're happy to be here as well. You know what? I'm looking forward to this conversation because I think you gave us some really quality key moments. I think the audience particularly are very much vibing with you, especially with the "give them a peach" conversation that you said at the reunion. So we'll dive into that a little bit later on and tackle some of the Ready to Love stuff. But you know, before we even get to that stage, before we even get to even know you, I have to make sure that, you know, right in front of me right now, it's not a prototype. You're not a robot. You know what I'm saying? We have to make sure you're actually human, Sidney. Okay, so we're gonna do some human verification. Is that okay?
If you see an X behind me, where's the X's?
The X's are just above you.
Perfect. So it's human.
Yeah. Is that your way of doing I'm human?
It's interaction.
I love that. All right, cool. So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
There's 3 questions we like to ask. So this first one is a song lyric. It's a song lyric. Okay? And it goes like this. I gave you all the love I got. I gave you more than I could give. I gave you love. I gave you all that I have inside. Do you know the artist and the song?
I gave you what?
I'll say it again for you.
I'm sorry. I like to listen to trap music.
That's fine. That's fine. This is 90s, so this is a little bit like 90s R&B.
Okay, wait. I'm in 90s. Okay, cool. So,
I gave you all the love I got. Ooh, no. But it's a good guess.
I gave you all the love
I gave you more than I could give.
I gave you all the love I have. Sade.
Yes, it is.
Let me tell you.
And you're actually singing it, so you actually know the song. I have no clue what the song was. I'm not gonna lie to you. I just picked it out from the list of top R&B songs. Okay, so you know the song. Mm-hmm. Okay, you know the song. Okay, so you're about it. Okay. Good to know. My second question. I've got a riddle for you. Yes.
Oh gosh.
You know what? I came back from Ghana and I came back on smoke. Okay, so these riddles are even harder than before. Beforehand, they were hard, but they're much harder now. So
I didn't know we were having a little pop quiz and I got on here.
Girl, I know. You better get your calculator out for this one.
Okay.
Okay, here's a riddle. Oh, no. That's going to be going across the screen. We don't want to do that. We want to do it this way so you can see it. Here we go. Here's a riddle. It is 9 a.m. now. Rita studies for 2 hours, takes a bath for an hour, and then has lunch for 1 hour. How many hours are left before 9 a.m. tomorrow? Listen. I haven't even worked this out. I just know the answer, but I haven't worked it out.
What? It's 9 a.m. now. Rita studies for 2 hours, takes a bath for 1 hour, and then has lunch for 1 hour. Wouldn't it be 6? Until 9 a.m.? I don't know. Listen, I've been taking some shots before I came onto this thing. This is not the time for me to be doing math right now.
Hey, this is the riddle. It's the riddle. I can't do nothing about it. I'm the riddle master. So was your final answer 6?
Riddle. 24 hours, 9 a.m. Say it one more time.
So it's 9 a.m. now.
Okay.
Rita studies for 2 hours, takes a bath for 1 hour, and then has lunch for 1 hour. How many hours are left before 9 a.m. tomorrow?
Wouldn't it be 20 hours? 20 hours, right?
Yes, that is the correct answer.
It's 20, right?
Hours.
Okay, good.
Yeah. You see, you got to try. You just got to trust yourself here, Sidney.
I had to focus for a second. I'm like, wait a second. Wait.
Don't let the shots take you away. Listen, trust yourself. You're good. My final question, nice and simple. Okay, cereal or milk in first?
Oh, I'm definitely going cereal first, and then I'm using oat milk next.
Okay, cool.
Because you have to let the milk has to touch it at the right spot.
At the right spot.
And I like to pour over it first to get a little moist.
Okay. Thank you. TMI, but thank you.
Not see? My mind wasn't going there.
Hey, I didn't say my mind was there either. See, the fact that you said that my mind wasn't there, that you thought my mind was there, it means that your mind was there. So, thank you. Yeah. No, I appreciate it. Okay, cool. So, you've passed the human verification. We know that you're human. So, I'm going to ask you a question. It's what I ask everybody when we start off. Sidney, who is Sidney and what is Sidney's story?
Okay, who is Sidney? Well, I'm human.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very sensitive, but I'm very outspoken. I can be insecure at times, but then there's times where I have to put it away and just be like this bubbly, amazing, like almost like a character based on the type of environment that I'm in and based on the type of lifestyle that I've built with having a brand, a boutique, and being the face of many companies and such. But I guess we can start back to where I was born. I was born in South Jersey, Williamsburg, New Jersey. We moved to Okinawa, Japan when I was about, I was going into second grade. We came back to the States when I was in the middle of fourth grade. And then from there, we lived in Virginia, Northern Virginia. My parents got a house built in Waldorf, Maryland. Okay. I then graduated high school, went on to college, Howard University, the illustrious HU, where I studied PR, minored in political science, and that brought me into working for like the #1 Black-owned business owner in DC, which is Mark Barnes. I worked for him from the age of 18 until I was probably 24. He owned like supper clubs. One club is Love, and the other is now Park, which is now a restaurant. From that, I decided, I've built up this kind of I'm now a socialite and I have a brand and I have a following. So I was like, you know what? I'm sick of working for other people. Let me just go and do my own thing. And that's how I got here today. Basically, I did men's magazines, music videos, and that's kind of how I built up my following. I had a meal prep company called Fresh Fit Meal Plan. Ooh. And yeah, I'm just on a journey of life. I'm still figuring things out like everybody else, but I literally am in a period of time where I don't say no to anything. There's like, I have a tattoo on my arm that says live in the moment. And that's like, do it now. Cause you're never tomorrow isn't promised. And I know that all I'm going to do is just age gracefully, of course. But
I love that. When you say tomorrow's not promised, why'd you come to that kind of thinking?
Because, people always push off what could be done today, tomorrow. I don't have time for that. We just don't. So I try to get things done today, and I try not to think about what other people are going to think. I move at the beat of my own drum, what makes me happy.
I love that. Okay, you've given us a nice little kind of breakdown in terms of you're a high achiever.
Intro.
Oh, you're a high achiever. We like to see that. Okay, so take me back. Let's rewind, because you're an accomplished woman now. You're a businesswoman as well. Okay, take me back to Sidney as a young girl, because you spoke about obviously moving from America to then Japan and then moving back as well. Take us back to when you were a young child. What was your experiences growing up? What was it like for Sidney growing up as a young girl?
Well, I'm the youngest of 4. It's 5 of us total. I have a half sister. Beautiful. And then I've got 3 older brothers. So technically, I'm very girly, but growing up, I was a tomboy. I ran track my entire life.
What discipline?
Excuse me?
What discipline did you run?
100, 200, 4x1, and long.
Jeez. All right, go on, Sidney.
So when people are like, she's like, I'm built like a runner naturally. So, yeah, that was like the beginning of my childhood. And I used to follow my youngest brother, Clifton, around everywhere. I was his shadow. And my mom was like, Clifton, if you want to go outside, you got to bring your little sister. So it was like one of those little things. But yeah, that was me. My mom and I have a really good, close relationship. I'm close with my parents. I talk to my mom every single day. I don't do anything without running it through my mother.
What would you say is your fondest memory as a child? What would you say is your fondest memory? Yeah. Gosh,
I have so many. I had a really blessed childhood. Even though my parents were separated, my mom got remarried. Gosh, my fondest memory? I have so many of them. I guess one that kind of sticks out is like my 16th birthday. My mom let me skip school for 4 days. We went my parents let me skip school for 4 days. And she took me to New York. We went shopping. I was surprised with I was in love with Christian Dior then, so that they got me a Dior saddlebag. That was like a really big thing for me. I was like, oh my gosh, my first designer bag, because my mom is so posh and so put together. I just wanted to look like her. So that was like a really, really good birthday. But I can't, it's really countless. I don't have just one little thing, but yeah.
What was that? And obviously, as you said, you know what is, I think your energy is really fluffy and really light. And I guess I want to ask the question, where does that energy come from? Where does that, because you have a nice aura about you, you know what I'm saying? So where does that come from? Where, is that from your mom? Is that from your dad? Is that just from your upbringing? Like, where does that come from?
I think it's my upbringing and prayer, really. I'm not every day is going to be a best day for me, but I start my day off listening to gospel and prayer and just being thankful and just being able to give gratitude. As I'm manifesting, I give gratitude because a lot of things could be a lot worse, and I try not to dwell on the negative. I try to put past it. And I think that when your mind goes into a place where you're feeding into the negativity, it just feeds. So I try to just forget that it even exists and just move forward. It's easier said than done, but that's just kind of like the motto that I like to live by.
Okay. Random question. What's your favorite color?
Black. It's not a color, it's a hue. But
black.
It's a hue. Yeah, I love black. It complements everything. It makes you look tiny. Hence, I got it on today because I've been eating pasta all week. It's my best friend's birthday. We've been eating all week long. I'm like, damn, girl, we've got to go on a cleanse this week, sis.
I'm with you on that. Okay, cool. So obviously you mentioned about the fact that your parents obviously your mum split from your dad as well. So you said obviously you got a great relationship with your mum. How's the relationship with your dad? Like, if you could tell us a little bit more about it.
I was lucky enough to have, my mom got remarried, so I had one stepdad. She divorced him, so now I have a second stepdad, and I have my father. So, and I've got 3 older brothers. So I've got this massive group of men around me that hold me down. So when I said that one comment, are y'all gonna check him? I'm not used to men speaking to women like that. I'm used to another man stepping in, you don't have to be aggressive, but just be like, hey, let the women talk, just step back, and this is a conversation in between these 2 ladies, simmer down. So my relationship, to go back to that, but my relationship with my father is great.
I love that.
And I love my stepmom. He got remarried too. I love my stepmom and my stepbrothers.
Wow. Love that. So do you feel like it ever affected you then, the split of your parents? I always ask this question because, I think it affects people differently. It might not have affected you at all, but did you feel like it affected you at all? Like when your parents split? How old would you have been?
I was so young. No, I was so young, and my stepfather at the time swooped in.
Oh.
I didn't even really notice the difference. My father, he's now a retired pilot.
Sick.
He flew to Lufthansa, and then he retired working for Air Trans, which is based out of Baltimore. And at that time, we were in Okinawa, so it was just phone calls. And then I had my stepdad that did an amazing job raising me, an amazing job. I look at him still as my dad today. And not really, when you have a good co-parenting relationship and you have, my mom and dad, they didn't expose me to what was going on behind closed doors. All I saw was just love towards me. So yeah, there isn't anything bitter, so to speak. No.
And it shows. Because obviously your light is very bright. Okay, so obviously then you grow up and then you go into, you do your track and you do your disciplines. You run into 100, 200, 4x1, everything.
Yes.
What took you into track though? What was the interest behind that?
First, I started off with softball, t-ball, right?
Okay.
And they were like, okay, so when you're at that young age, they have a little t-ball stand with the ball on it, so you can practice. So I kept hitting it, and they're like, stop throwing the bat down. And I was like, why can't I throw the bat down? They're like, stop throwing the bat down. But they were like, she's running so fast. So I told my mom, I was like, they said I couldn't throw the bat down. She was like, you know what? Let's just put you in a track. So as soon as that happened, it went off for me. Went off, and we went to pin relays, won everything. I just chose not to take any of my scholarships. I had scholarships at every single college that you could think of. because I wanted to just be a regular girl and enjoy college, enjoy school, and not worry about the pressure of making times to keep your scholarship. And then here I am. And I wanted to go to an HBCU. You know, if you run track, you're going to end up at like Grambling, Florida State, UCLA, LSU, things like that. So, yeah, I just wanted to be like a regular girl and go to college. And
that's
enjoy
interesting.
it.
You wanted to be a regular girl versus, I mean, because most people might have taken, you know, the scholarship, you know, the chance of becoming, you know, the next Marion Jones. Okay, maybe not Marion Jones because, you know, she kind of had a scandal, but you know what I mean.
Or Flojo. You see my
Flojo, you know what I'm saying?
Flojo for me.
Like, why? What's the appeal of being a regular girl? You know, in that moment, what was the appeal of choosing that particular decision? 'Cause that's a life-changing decision in a sense. Because you could have been, by now, we could have seen you on our screen, and you could have been running track. So what? You know,
although I was really good, I was great at it, exceptional at it. It was a lot of pressure. And I felt like, you know, with school, I wanted to focus on my academics. I graduated with a 3.75. I just wanted to focus on school. And actually, like the summer before I had even made my mind up about what I was going to do, or like months, I got approached to work at Love. They were like, oh, you're kind of lit on MySpace. I'm like, yeah, but I'm only 17 years old. They're like, you're lit. This guy approached me. His name is Jay Cooper. He was one of the managers at Love. I'm probably gonna get in trouble because I was underage. But anyway, we'll talk about it. He was like, come to the club. We have Christina Milian hosting. And I was like, oh my God, I love her. She was so lit back then. So I went, and he was like, wow, you're just how people look at you. We need to get you in this type of scene. You could really make a lot of money just based off of like your presence and your following. And I'm just thinking, okay, so what do I have to do? He was like, just show up, post a flyer on your MySpace. And at this time, now I'm a senior, Facebook is now available for us if you had a college ID or a college email. So that's how I got started.
Wow.
But yeah, I didn't feel like the pressure of track. I just didn't. I was like, this is gonna be too much pressure.
Did you have to discuss that with your parents then? Like, did your parents have a say so in the fact that you were saying, I'm not going to do the scholarship and I'm going to do the
my dad,
regular?
My stepdad, he was pissed. He was like, all the amount of money we put into you for AAU track, summer track, all the training and the hard work and the time of going back and forth. Because, you know, track is all year round. I didn't have an off season. They're like, we dedicated so many hours and here you are. Now you're just in the club. Like, what? But my mom was like, just do what makes you happy because you're entering. We raised you the right way. We know that you're going to make the right decisions. And you're an adult now. You're 18. So we trust that what you do. And at the end of the day, they just wanted me to be happy because you can't live your life for your parents. At least my parents didn't raise me that way. Always like be a good reflection of them, but live your life the way that you see fit.
Wow, that's cool. It's quite a like I said, even at that young age, it's still a big decision, you know, to choose, like I said, the regular. I don't even want to call it regular life, but to choose an alternative path to something that, you know, could hold some success and, you know, monetary and social gain, etc. if you did it. So, you know, commendable that you had a strong mind enough to say, this is not me. Actually, I want to go a different path as well. Okay,
and I felt like the type of person, Mark, I just want to make this, you know, when you work for Mark, your network is huge. It is so huge. And it kind of played hand in hand with the fact that I was doing PR at the time. Or that I was studying PR, and the amount of money that I was making as a college student was crazy. It was ridiculous.
Quickly educate me. I actually, because I'm from the UK, I actually have no clue as to who Mark is. Mark Barnes. I have no clue.
Okay, yeah. So Mark, he is best friends with Diddy. That's who most people know him as. Like they kind of like used to throw parties together when they were younger. But his network is massive. So he happened to trust us. We used to have a college night, a Thursday night college night we actually generated more money than they did on a Friday night. And that's with liquor sales. So imagine being a college student and you're making $3,000 every Thursday as a college student. Okay. So you're like, all right, this is lit. And all we have to do is just post a flyer and just create this massive vibe, like an entire experience, to the point where we're shutting down entire streets, having outside concerts with Jeezy, Drake. Like, it was sick. We had a great college life. It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Okay, let me into that world a little bit. What's that world like then? Because obviously, if you're making a lot of money, you're meeting with influential people. You know, what's that experience like for someone who's so young as well at that time anyway? You know, you're growing and you're going through life and everything. What's that kind of experience like? Let us into that world a little bit.
In the beginning, everything is like, oh my gosh, this is lit. I can't believe I'm gonna meet someone that I'm listening to, that I vibe to. I'm driving to work, like, oh my God, we're about to see him in like 2 seconds. Or, oh my gosh, we just booked him to come here, us. So we're all teenagers, right? But then you get so used to it. So it's just like, hey, bro. Yeah, it just becomes so normal. And that starts at a young age, you know? Yeah, so, but it just feels like it's just a normal thing. It becomes the new normal for you.
And then what kind of opportunities did it open you up to then?
So with that, I started working for a couple of liquor brands. Nouveau Ciroc. This is back in the day. When I said Nouveau, like that takes it back. Nouveau and Ciroc. And then it kind of opened the door for magazines. So I did like a 6th-page spread in the Source magazine. This is when Benzino was the owner. I met him and then I went into King magazine, Black Men's magazine, Smooth Girl magazine. I did every single magazine you could think of. But then at that time, it's like, okay, what's next? What can we do? And that's when you're like, okay, I'm working on my brand. And from that, let's generate our own money outside of the club. And so that's when I started a clothing line called Cream Republic, where I designed all of my own dresses. And then I took a step back from that and started working out and training. And I had a meal prep company. And with that meal prep company, it kind of transitioned into me. I guess, why did I stop doing it? I got overwhelmed. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm about to do this forever. This is a lot of work for just myself. Of course, my mother would come over. I have her packaging stuff up. We're running things everywhere. And then I kind of met somebody. I met my ex, who is a football player. And with that being said, my life kind of took a side to his life a little bit. Because now, you know, with anybody that's in the spotlight, that although I had like a little tiny spotlight, this is a larger spotlight.
Yes.
So being an athlete's girlfriend, you have a lot of responsibilities with that come with it, because you're like their ace. You're next to them every single day, especially if you're like me, we live together. So now it's like, okay, the chef, therapist, best friend, cleaning lady. If you get traded, I'm right next to you. So I kind of felt like a piece of me got left to the side to kind of help him a little bit, because, you know, I'm in love with him. He definitely poured his love into me too. He invested into my business, but I definitely was a little focused on him until we broke up.
How old were you when you met the footballer?
Oh, my ex-boyfriend and I was 30, 29, 30.
Okay, so this is quite recent.
Yeah.
Well, I say recent.
We broke up. It'll be a year. It's been a year since December that we've been broken up.
Wow. Okay. Okay. So we've done quite a large jump. So we've gone from college parties, you know, earning 3,000 a night. We jumped to almost 10 years down the line. Okay, so let me reel you back in then. So, okay, since you've already gone into dating, right?
Yes.
I want to ask you a question before I go into dating. What's the one piece of advice that you've had from your dad or stepdad that you hold on to now?
Oh my gosh. Well, my parents, as with dating, don't play wifey until you get the ring, ma'am. Don't play wifey until you get the ring. But naturally, I'm my mother's child. We enjoy being in relationships. We are our best selves, like when we are in a unit with somebody, and we're romantic, and I'm naturally a nurturer. Like, out of all of my friends, I'm the mom out of all of us. So that was something that you kind of learn the hard way. And of course, they're going to tell you over and over and over again. My mom's like, a hard head makes a soft ass, or who wants to buy the cow to get the milk for free? But you know, it's through experience where it makes sense to you. Yes.
Through experience.
Through experience, for sure.
Experience. What does that mean?
Well, I mean, I've been through a few relationships that were kind of similar to that, but I would say like my ex was probably like a soulmate, I would say. But yeah, I try not to All breakups are difficult. Like my last breakup was, oh my gosh,
Difficult.
like any girl when you're that in love and that invested and things just don't pan out the way that you want, because I'm thinking to myself, you know, I know we're not perfect, but I want a ring. And when things kind of fizzled out, I was heartbroken. I was depressed for a couple of months. I had to do a lot of shadow work. It's just a lot of reflection, writing down in my journal, a lot of tears. I know my girlfriends were like, when is she going to pop it? Like, snap out of it. But it takes time. But I had a really good support system. And then here we are in the show where I was hoping to find somebody that was intentional with wanting to date, and where we had our finish line looked the same.
Wow. Okay. So you've mentioned a few times keyword nurturer in relationships. Now, what I find with nurturers is they tend to pick up people who are not as nurturing in relationships, because you need to feel that tendency to try and nurture people. It's part of your nature. But you spoke obviously about the previous ex, or was latest one. I want to go back a little bit. So first love, what was that like? First love.
Oh my gosh, that was butterflies. My very first love. Oh gosh, it was butterflies. It was great. I certainly was. We were really young. I would say my first love, I was 20. Family oriented, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful man. Everything that you could possibly embody in a man was this guy, but he was really like wholesome and homely. And I think that if I would have stayed in that relationship, we would have been married by like 24. And I was like, listen, I still want to enjoy life. I'm not ready for that just yet.
Okay, so you met someone that was wholesome, but you weren't ready for that. Is that because of the lifestyle? Was that because of the things that you wanted to achieve? Did you feel like you wouldn't have achieved them if you had stayed in a relationship? Is that how you felt?
Definitely. I had like a list of things that I was still checking off my list, and I felt like, you know, if we continue on this journey, I just know that as a wife, you're gonna want me. And he was very traditional. I was like, you're gonna want me at home. Probably pregnant with my feet up, and I'm not ready yet.
But wait, are you ready for that now though? Is that Sidney now?
I definitely am ready for that now.
Oh, so you ready to feet up?
Well, see, no, listen, I wouldn't be at home. I would be a working mother.
Okay,
I have money to make. I have businesses to run and stuff like that. And hopefully, my husband, he and I will join on some ventures. But yeah, I definitely would like to start a family sooner than later.
Okay. So that relationship you was in, that was a wholesome relationship. How long did that last for?
Oh, my first relationship?
Yeah.
Gosh, Brandon and I were together for how many years, Sarah? Almost like 5 years? 5.
Okay, so you're doing some long terms here. You're doing some long terms here, baby.
Yes, 5 years.
Okay, you ain't no short terms with you here. Long term, 5 years. Okay, so that's a lot of experiences that have been had then in those 5 years. Okay, so 5 years then, and then your next relationship was that?
I don't want to talk about that last one. Legally, I can't talk about that.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So we'll skip over that and we'll just move past
him. Okay. Wait, the last one, do you mean the footballer you can't talk about, or you mean this?
Well, no, there was another footballer that I can't talk about. And
Wow. Okay. My bad. Okay. We'll skip over that particular one. Okay. So to the last one, the last gentleman. Okay. What were the lessons that you learned from that particular relationship?
Patience. I definitely had to work on patience. I had to learn on letting go of my ego at times. Know when it's time to pick a fight and when just to like, I think that I needed to be a little bit more, because he was young. My ex was younger than me, right? So I've gone through life experiences, and I've got 3 older brothers. So I know how to cook, clean, fix. My dad taught me how to do everything. My brothers taught me how to grill. My friends are calling me to change tires. They know that they can call me to put things together. And I feel like instead of him like being the masculine man that he was, I was just like, move out the way, let me do it, you know? So that was something that I needed to work on. But then I also needed to work on putting myself first and not just being like the girlfriend of blank. Yeah.
Okay. So take me a little bit deeper then. So, you know, when you get into a situation where you realize your light is is being quashed a little bit because obviously you're with somebody who is such a big name or star, etc., etc. Talk to me a little bit about the adjustment you had to make then to try and make this relationship work. Then, what kind of adjustments did you have to do to make this work?
The only adjustment was well, I stopped working. I left my apartment in DC and I moved to Baltimore. So that was a big adjustment because I'm used to having multiple streams of income, and here I am solely depending on him. And then I guess really like not having that many friends. Like I'm in Baltimore, and although Baltimore and DC are very close, I'm like 30 minutes outside of Baltimore. I'm closer to where the facility is. So it's like in the middle of nothing, like the county. So I barely got to see my friends. I kind of was just like, I lived in this bubble of just him. So my world was just wrapped, and I kind of lost myself just a little bit. I gained weight. I wasn't happy. And with weight, you become a little insecure. And with insecurities, you're a little nippy. So it was a couple of things that I didn't really like myself towards the middle of the relationship. Towards the end of towards the end when we were about to break up, I was like, look, I'm done. I'm fed up. I don't like this. Like, we're arguing. Now I just want to make sure we are good friends. We're great friends. I don't want to bash him. But yeah, you kind of just lose yourself. And I'm sure that most women, or some women, I can't say most, but there are some women that have been in a situation where it's just like, they're my whole entire world. And it happens to them too. But you can't, like I said, play wifey until it's like
legit.
Until you got the ring on your finger, sis. Yeah.
Okay.
Be a loving girlfriend, be a loving, supportive girlfriend. But as far as like I was doing the most. You would have thought that we were married at this point.
And that comes from your nurturing side, I'm guessing.
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm gonna hold that. So then, obviously, let me move it forward a little bit. Then, talk to me a little bit about your relationship with Frank before the show, because obviously you guys kind of knew each other. So tell us a little bit about that relationship, you and Frank. You know what I mean?
Frankie. Okay, so I always get this question. We were not friends. We knew of each other. We had seen each other out in passing, but we didn't know each other personally. So his best friend Queenie and I, Queenie worked for Mark, the owner of the club that I had mentioned before. I had known her for years, many, many years. And so with that, I'm seeing she's posting Frank, and a lot of people in the area know who Frank is. Like, they just know he's very, very popular. He's charming. He's handsome. You recognize that smile wherever you go. And of course, he has his alcoholic beverage brand, Daring. So yeah, he was pretty lit. So I'd always heard of him. But as soon as I saw him at the initial mixer, I was like, oh, Frank, I heard that you might be on the show. Yes, there you are. It's finally nice to meet you.
Why was there no? I mean, how long did you guys know of each other? How many years have you guys known of each other?
Like maybe 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah, but I've always been. But you have to keep in mind, people are like, why didn't they date before the show? I was always in a relationship, you guys. My radar was not. I'm not looking at anybody. I'm tunnel vision. Okay. Yeah. So. Yeah.
Okay, that makes a little bit of sense. Okay. I'm hearing what you're saying. Okay, so you then obviously, like I said, you took some time out after the last relationship. You needed to heal, take some time out, find yourself, gather yourself. What takes Sidney to Ready to Love? Okay,
so I'm scrolling through my DMs and I get a message. And it's like, hey, are you a single that's in the ages of blah, blah, blah? Are you looking for love? And this is my mom's favorite show. So I instinctively, I'm like, let me call Gabby. Let me call Gabby up. I'm like, Mommy, guess who reached out to me? She's like, what? Who? I was like, Ready to Love. She's like, oh my God, you gotta do it. Just do the show. You know, the girls in there are gonna have Zoom meetings about it every Friday. You're single, just do it. The men on there are handsome. So I binge watched like a couple seasons and I was like, okay, this is a classy show. It's not too ratchet. There's a couple of scenes where it's just like the girls get a little catty, but I'm like, this is nothing compared to like Love Island or something like that. So why not? The men are established, they're successful, they're handsome. And the fact that I haven't dated in a long time, I was like, this would be interesting. Like, I'm not someone that goes on the dating apps like Bumble and stuff like that. So I thought, all right, they're already kind of filtering out men for me. They're doing the work for me, so why not just do it? But I was apprehensive, of course. I was apprehensive.
Okay. So they reached out to you.
Yes.
You decided to take the opportunity. You know, you're thinking, hey, they're gonna help me. They're gonna filter out some of the nonsense in the world. Maybe a good, decent guy will be there. Okay. Obviously, then you actually get drafted to come in the middle of the show rather than the beginning. How did you take that when they finally brought that to you? When you're like, oh, you're gonna come in the middle, not the beginning.
So initially, all right. This was literally 4 days before we had to show up at the initial mixer where everybody got to meet. So I'm like getting super excited. I'm like, I can't wait to meet everybody. Then it's boom, Jerry calls me. Hey, Sidney, how would you like to come on as a curveball? And I'm like, what does that mean? She's like, well, you'll come in like a couple weeks after we start filming and kind of mix things up a little bit. So initially I'm like, no, I kept telling them, I'm like, what if my man is gone? What if they vote the one that's for me before I get there? What if they vote him off? And she's like, no, she's reassuring me. She's like, no, I can promise you your type is going to be on the show once you get there. And then a piece of me, of course, I called my mom and my best friend. I'm like, what do you think I should do? They're like, well, girl, your entrance is going to be probably like a little lit. And I'm like, all right. Considering they had never done it before, I was like, okay, let's just do it. Let's just do it. So I eventually went along and said yes. But I kind of wish I didn't. I wanted to it puts you at a disadvantage. Number one, I didn't get to meet the other men that were casted off. 2, connections are already made. And it's kind of like, from the outside looking in, they don't know if I'm an actor. They don't know if I came on here just to shake stuff up. They don't know if I'm genuine. And this is from the men and women. Yeah. And then some of these people, they have their connections already. And they're like, listen, you could be Beyonce, but I've already put all this effort into this connection. I just don't have time to put any effort into you right now. So I kind of felt like, with that being said, I'm like, oh God. It really didn't matter because at the end of the day, I met Phil. My little shy man in the background at the pool. I met him. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got a question. I'm gonna save it a little bit. Okay. All right. So So you're asking you to come in the middle. And obviously, I heard you and Sean had to be like kept away for a little while before you actually then that whole day kept away a little while before you then got to come through.
Yeah, but what was kind of going through your head? A little bit. I got to see him, and I was like, ooh. He's very handsome, tall, chocolate, and you're meeting somebody at a pool party, you get to see their full aesthetic, and I saw his like pecs. I was like, oh, he's handsome. Oh, and so initially I talked to him first. I was like, you know what, we're coming on here together. It would make sense for us to have a connection. We can go through the process, but some other people hopped in the way. I didn't even really get to go on one date with him. Yeah. So is there since obviously like the history of athletes, is there a particular body type that you're normally drawn to? Is that what you're saying? Because Sean also has a kind of physique that is, you know what I'm saying? Do I have do I have a specific?
Should I say preference, or you're drawn to oftentimes the kind of physical buff physique, athletic?
I really love height. I love to wear heels. I'm girly. I mean, I love to wear sneakers, but I wear heels often. So as long as you're taller than me with my heels on, that's like a plus. And then I like melanin. I prefer melanin, and I like a man with facial hair and hair.
Okay. Facial hair and hair. Okay. And we can go down. Okay. So you like chest, you like arms. You don't have to hide it.
Well, I mean, I work out. I need my man to look good too.
Yeah. That's what I've been waiting for. It's okay to say that. Chest and arms is okay. You know what I'm saying? I understand. That's why I go to the gym. I understand. You know what I mean?
Oh, yes. We see you in the gym.
Oh, listen, I do my thing. You know what I'm saying? I do my thing. You know what I'm saying? But no. Okay. So you see, okay. Cool. Because I did hear that you guys had to be left like isolated for a little while and everything. So it was just you two kind of coming in. And then coming into the actual thing. What was your kind of first impressions when you get in? Because like you said, you don't know what you get into. So what's your kind of first impression when you get in?
Oh my gosh, I was so nervous. I'm a nervy, clumsy, even though I'm put into like really social situations, I'm shy. I get shy, especially if all the attention is on me at one time. I was like, shit, I didn't think this through. Oh my God, they're all gonna be looking at me when I walk out. They're like, yeah, so you're gonna do your walkout. Here goes Kelly. You're gonna walk out from here all the way down there, and you're just gonna wait. And I was like, so they're just gonna be staring at me this entire time. I don't have glasses or contacts on. I'm thinking about my ankles are shaking. My mom, my best friend, and my other girlfriends are like, don't fall, Sidney. Just don't fall. Because I fall all the time. Like, I fall every time. It's not a good night unless Sidney falls, okay? So, what did I do? I fell. Walking out, doing my little introducing Sidney. I finally get there, and it's like, boom. Okay, and Tommy's like, nah, we got to do this over again. So I do it again. I fall, boom. And I'm like, okay, well, at least I got to break the ice. And then there was like a big comfort blanket seeing Courtney, because Courtney is my girl. We call each other twin. I've known her for years. Yeah, so that's who I focused on. When I got there, I'm like looking for her, like, and I was like, oh, there she is. There's Courtney. And then I remember always seeing Aisha because of her hair, the blonde hair. Yes.
Okay. Who was your first conversation with, apart from Courtney? Who was your first kind of conversation with then?
My very first conversation, as soon as we left as soon as Tommy finished talking to us, Zadia, actually. I'm walking down, and she was like, oh, I see your quads. There can only be 2 girls that can be workout girls on this. I think she was just trying to be funny, and I was like, oh, girl, we can work out together. She was the first person that really spoke to me.
Oh, okay. Interesting, that is.
Yeah.
And you never sensed any energy? It was all good vibes?
I didn't, with me, nothing really ruffles my feathers like that. So I didn't take it in a negative way. I was just like, oh, okay. She must work out. And then I realized that she was Zadia the body. And I was like, okay, that's why she said that. But she was the first person that I spoke to. As far as the men, Zadia and Kamil were sitting down at the hot tub. And I saw Sean there. And I was like, oh, I'll go sit down and talk with them too. So we conversed together. And yeah, he was the first guy. And then I ventured over and looked around like, damn, I'm hungry. And I saw Dante on the grill and Frank was next to him. So those are my other 2.
You saw Dante or you saw the girl? Which one did you see that you're hungry? You saw nothing. Okay. So so obviously you saw Dante, you saw Phil. That scene where you're sitting with Sean, Zadia, and sitting also with Kamil, man, it looked hella awkward.
It was very awkward.
Yes, tell us your perspective, because I was wondering, from my perspective, they cut parts of it, but what was it like for you?
Well, the weirdest thing, as I'm sitting down there at the hot tub conversing, I'm getting to know him. Of course, it's a dating show, so we're all going to get to know him at the same time. But one thing that kind of like stuck out at me, I'm talking, Kamil was like, I know you. And I'm like, you do? She was like, you used to date blank blank. And I'm like, yeah. She was like, oh, I used to go in and out of his dorm room all the time when he was in college. And Sean made this remark like, haha, you're talking like it was a bodega or something. So that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. The first time that I kind of met her, I was like, girl, what does this have to do with anything that we're doing? Like, what? Okay. That was kind of corny. Eat the popcorn, baby. So I was like, that's kind of corny. So after that kind of set the tone of how I kind of viewed her. Because I'm like, but hindsight's 50-50. Now that makes sense as to why maybe that's why she treated me the way that she did during this entire season. And perhaps, I'm sure at that point, she and Zadia were friends. I'm sure she went off and had like a little kiki with Zadia, like, oh yeah, I knew her ex, and I was doing this for her ex, and blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? So that's something that I never said before. They don't even know that I talk about it. There's a couple of other things that I know that I probably will not put on camera. But yeah. That's how the day started with me, and that was like my first interactions with Kamil went.
Just want to capture this moment. So you get there, you sitting there with Kamil, Zadia,
hindsight's 2020,
and you're sitting there, and then she mentions that she blank has used to enter the person's. Wait, how old would you? Okay, how old would you have been?
That's
this thing has been brought up.
I'm like, I started when she said that. I was like, wait, I can't remember if she's 40 something, but she's definitely 10 years older than I am. And here's a year older than I am. And I'm like, if he was in college, that means you're 9 years older. Girl, what was you doing in his dorm room? But she likes younger men. Look at Cornelius. He's younger. I think she likes to manipulate and have like the upper hand. I mean, we see how she gets down. And she's a teacher. She has kids, you know? She's just used to being like...
Hold on a minute.
I'm just being funny. But no.
It's okay, girl. You hold that down. Don't worry. Let me just put this here for you. It's been a long time since I used that meme. So, okay. So that's the first instance. You're getting hit on the first conversation.
Yes.
First conversation you're having. This is what you're being hit with.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So
and this isn't my ex that I was just with. This is the one that I can't talk about. I want to make that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. My God. Mercy of God. So obviously, once she says that, is your mind thinking, "Right, this could get a bit messy then"?
No, I was just thinking, she's corny. Why would you tell me that? This has nothing to do with what's going on right now. We're looking for love right now, and you're talking about college. We've been out of college for 12 years, ma'am. Well, at least I have. That was the only thing I was thinking. I was just like, oh, okay. Like a joke. What a joke. Oh, but then I was thinking, like, it kind of made me flattered. I was like, oh, you know who I am, but I have no clue who you are. Not at all. I have the slightest clue.
Oh my God. It's a super story.
Are you looking at the comments? Because you can't even talk right now because you're looking at the comments. What are the comments saying?
No, the comments. That's not. I'm shocked. Because every time I hear about this stuff, I get shocked. That's why I eat the popcorn. The popcorn is to help me kind of rediscover myself. So, okay. So after that conversation that happens, I was about to even focus back onto. Okay, so after that conversation happens, I know that you and Phil kind of connected at the poolside. I'll address Zadia a little bit later. You guys connected at the poolside, but was there any, apart from Frank and Phil, was there any other connections that you made? Because we kind of saw the Donta as well kind of connection, but it was very brief. Was that real connection?
The producers that come up to you and they're like, who are you feeling? So at this time, I'm like, I'm behind. So I want to try every flavor at this point. It's like Starburst. It's like, okay, well, this person embodies this. This person embodies this. This person looks like this. I want to get to know them. I didn't get a chance to talk to this person at the mixer, so I'd like to get a chance to talk to them on one-on-one. So I told them I wanted to get to know Dante more. Dante's vegan. I'm veganish.
Veganish. What does that mean?
You know what? You guys are never going to come back over here. I hope I'm going to literally tear his interview up, Phil.
So out there laughing at you because he said vegan, and he know, girl, you ain't even close to vegan, are you?
Let me tell you something. Okay, so as a woman, right? And I know my ladies can understand this. It's the summertime. So listen, maybe winter I might be pescatarian. It's summertime. It's time to like cleanse our body, have our juice diet. It's like, sis, do not invite me to Fogo de Chao because I'm not having meat. But I have not really had meat in 3 years, right? So I would kind of like play back and forth with maybe incorporating fish. So I was like a pescatarian vegan. But this is what happened. So we're at the mixer. We kind of transitioned to it being like a party. So I saw vegetables, and I love vegetables. And then I'm like, ooh, I want some ranch dressing. So technically, I usually do the Hidden Valley vegan ranch, but I was like, Frank, go get me some ranch dressing. And I'm dipping my my broccoli and my red bell pepper in this ranch. And here goes Dante, like, we just had a whole conversation about his vegan dishes that he makes, and here she is dipping her vegetables in some ranch, and he's a strict vegan, so he was like, she's a fraud. She is a fraud. She's a fraud. So if you guys, I don't know if anybody paid attention, but like at the retreat, I had a veganish t-shirt on that was like, on the back of it said extra ranch dressing. I'm vegan Wednesday through Thursday. Wednesday through Saturday, I'm vegan. Yeah. Shocking. So I'm just a girl. I'm just a girl. Can I be on my journey? There's days where I'm just like, I don't want to eat anything but water, or I'm fasting, or I'm just doing the smoothie thing, or it could be like an entire month where it's just strictly veggies, fruits, like a raw diet. But I'm human.
It's fine.
But I gotta stop putting I'm a vegan out there, so I'm veganish.
You're good. You're on your journey.
They get really mad, like, you are not. You are not.
It's a very, very strong society.
Wine because wine is not vegan, and I didn't even know that because it has animal products in it. Animal products in wine.
Oh, is it?
I thought it was just great. So how was I supposed to know?
For those who are vegans out there, wine now is off the table. Okay, so your connection with obviously Dante, was it much of a connection, or was it a quick one?
No, Dante is a great catch. He's very, very handsome, successful. I don't have anything really negative to say about him. The only thing that kind of rubbed me the wrong way, and honestly, it had nothing to do with him when I say this. I'm coming out of a relationship with my ex who had one son, right? And it was just a little bit of fire with the baby mama situation. So when he was like, yeah, I've got 3 kids. And I was like, okay, cool. How many? And he was like, I've got multiples. I was like, oof, I can't. I just can't. My mental, coming from that, I was like, that's probably not going to work for me. And so, this is a speed dating. I'm like, let me just move on. But it worked out in the end because God put Dante and Aisha together, and they are a beautiful, beautiful couple.
No,
and then there was Cornelius. Cornelius was on the double date. And I sit down with Cornelius. You look at him. He's handsome. He's a model.
He's very handsome.
And then I'm just like, it was just nothing. It was like I'm hanging out with, like, even though he's older than me, it gave me like little brother vibes. It was just nothing it was not a spark at all. But then that worked out because he and Kamil are together.
Was that he's under the rest. Was that at the pool party when you connected with, tried to connect with Cornelius then?
When I tried to, yes, I feel like the production, because I kind of told them my type, and they're like, oh, this is gonna be your type. Cornelius, go sit with her. So as we're sitting together, I'm talking to him, but I could tell like he was like looking around like a little. You don't know what's going on until you see the show. So now when I see him looking over his shoulder, he's looking at Kamil because she's giving him the death eye, like, don't look at her too long in her face, kill you, something like that. But initially just based off of physical appearance, I thought that he was handsome. But yeah, as far as the sparks, he wasn't my type. His mannerisms were, I like a masculine man. He just wasn't my type.
He wasn't giving you the masculine. No,
he wasn't. I want to feel protected. Like, protect me. I want to feel that. And I kind of felt like I would be protecting him. Yeah.
Totally hear you. I mean, did you feel like there was a, this is your personal opinion, did you feel like there was a block in getting to know Cornelius? Was there forces and barriers?
I don't think that there was a block because I didn't put that much energy into him. I'm sure if I was someone that wanted him, I would have, I don't know what I would have thought because I didn't even go that route. But yeah, they even cut when we went to the selfie museum where it was Dante, Kamil. And I do want to say, Kamil did apologize to me at the selfie museum for bringing up my ex at the hot tub. She apologized. One of her many apologies to me. She apologized, but they cut the entire scene from me and Cornelius because they were like, girl, it was a flat line dead. Like, there was nothing to even post. Because I'm like, yeah, so what do you do for fun? It was just nothing. It was nothing. But that could be also because now looking at it, he and Kamil had started their journey on day one. So.
Yeah, but still, there could have been a little, at least, there should be life in the body. You know what I mean?
He's very charming. It just wasn't, it was like I'm sitting down with, no. It just wasn't nothing. It was nothing. Yeah.
Okay. So I'll say Cornelius didn't happen. Dante as well. That was a bit of a no-go because
it kind of fizzled,
the baby mother situation, which I totally understand. I said if I met a lady that had 3 baby fathers, I would be also going the other direction. So okay, cool. So then it narrows down then obviously to Phil and Frank. Anyone else that was a connection for you potentially, or there was a little bit of exploration?
I went on a date with Nasty Naim. I went on a date with him. I did. That man is nasty. He's so mean and so rude. So mean, so rude. Yeah, I went on a date. We did cryotherapy, and the date went
Ooh.
actually really well. It was the complete opposite of how you would think he would treat me, considering he wanted to put me on the bottom because my voice was so annoying, and the way that he was speaking to us, or the women, at the reunion, it was completely different. He was a sweet guy. I can see why Zadia may have liked him. He was charming, engaging, he's intelligent, he's handsome, he's got a great career, but it didn't make sense. So
Which part didn't make sense?
It just didn't make sense to even show it, because I just knew that it wasn't going to go anywhere. Because prior to that, 24 hours before that even happened, he's telling me to shut the F up and that I'm a shit starter at Frank's pool party that everybody knows about. Literally 24 hours later, I had to sit there and have a date with him.
So how did the date come about then? Is it just because production? I know
production organized we're not stuff. Supposed to hang outside of filming, and unfortunately Frank wanted us to like get together, have camaraderie, and that rooftop shindig kind of made a turn for the worse. And he kind of canceled me, screamed at me, and then 24 hours later, production doesn't know. They just know that I said, oh yeah, I'm interested in going on a date with Naim too, because we didn't exchange numbers, but I was like, he's handsome, I'd like to get to know him more. And then here we are. So it's like I got to meet the real him the night before, and I got the representative on the date.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay, since you've mentioned it, you've brought it up, so we can dive into it a little bit then. Let's address this Frank's party. I'm hearing phones getting disconnected. I'm hearing people have to hold people back. I'm hearing someone told you to STFU. I mean, there was a lot that was happening at Frank's party. Okay, all right. So give us a little bit of a rundown, a little run through of what happened at Frank's party. Give us some timestamps and everything like that.
Okay, so we shot the title scene that day. Frank wanted everybody to get together that had shot the title scene. I was the first girl to shoot the title scene. I had a commercial to shoot for a med spa that I partnered with, so I got rushed off set quickly, and I was gone for like 6 hours shooting that. Frank sends out a mass text message like, hey, I know you're busy doing work-related things, but I'm having a little rooftop party. Come over when you're done. I'm like, I'm not going to get there, so probably like 10:30, but I'll stop by, of course. I have Sarah with me. So we get there. I can tell that everyone is they've had a couple of drinks from 4 o'clock in the afternoon to like 10:30. Drinks. They've definitely been having drinks, right? So we get there. Initially, I see Naim and Zadia. She's kind of like running up and down the hallway, like happy, like, hey, da, 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 in a good mood to see me, okay? We go upstairs to the rooftop. I get to the rooftop. I say hello to everybody. Flash forward a couple of minutes. They're playing like, Before I Let Go. Doom, 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 doom. That's a vibe. But it's 2021. It's July. I want to listen to 42 Doug, Maybach. Okay? That's what I want to listen to right now. It's the rooftop. Let's just pretend that we're at Rosebud right now. So I'm like putting my phone into the aux cord, and at that point the girls had gone out to go to the bathroom, and I'm like, oh, perfect time. I can change up the dynamic a little bit. They've been playing their music the entire time. So I put plug my phone in, listen to the song, and then as I'm dancing, like I think I walk into Momin is sitting next to Naim, and then Cornelius, and then Kamil, and then Sarah. Like they're kind of all sitting on the couch, and Sarah's kind of sitting here. So I'm dancing with Kamil. I'm dancing with Momin. I keep saying Momin. And then I come over to Cornelius, because at this point, let's keep in mind, I don't know the dynamic I don't know who's with who.
Of course.
I'm still just getting here. And if you ask a guy, so who are your connections? I don't want to talk about that. Let's talk about me and you. That's what they will tell you. Okay.
How early, so wait, this party, how early is it then in the process then?
This is like 11 p.m. at night. But they've been there since like 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
And how early is this in the, what part, what, I'm trying to think the timeline in terms of the show. Is it like a weekend, 2 weeks that you've been into the show now?
I had done one women's lounge. So this is probably their 4th week and my 1st week. Okay. So I don't know the dynamic between Kamil and Cornelius. I don't know anything at all. I just know that I don't have a connection with him. And I know if I dance on him, it's going to be like some chill shit. Like, it's not a big deal. And it wasn't like I'm in a strip club, like sexy. It's come on. Like, it wasn't that big of a deal to me. I do that. I leave.
Oh, wait, hold on. We don't
During
skip
that
that.
moment.
Wait. Sydney. We're not just
Yeah.
gonna skip that part. What you mean was going on? What? Okay, first of all, what song was playing?
I think it was 42 Doug.
Okay, 42
I
Doug
think
was
it was
playing.
like, he's an artist. I think it
Okay.
was that song. But in the midst of this, my phone gets ripped out. So it's like, I'm like, who just took my phone out? And I see Shiloh standing over there. I see Zadia, and Zadia's like, why are we playing this music? I don't want to hear this. We don't even know the song. Da, 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 da. And I'm just like, oh, okay. I know who took it out. All right, cool. I'm like, why is she on 10? This is weird. So I go and mind my business. The guys were nice enough to order food. So I'm sitting down at a table that had all of the liquor, and I'm eating my salad, talking to Walter and Sarah. It's probably like 45 minutes after the said lap dance, which wasn't a lap dance. And here comes Zadia. She comes over very aggressively. Now, we're sitting down. She comes over us, and she's like trying to grab or pretend she's grabbing a bottle. And I was like, yo, you're like in my personal space. Back up. Then she gets rowdy, like, who are you talking to? Da, 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 da. She gets so rowdy that she starts to get rowdy with Sarah. Mm-hmm. She grabs Sarah. Kind of scratches her arm, and then that's when we get up, like, whoa, like, what's going on? So, I mean, the guys, like, some of the men, they know my personality, and they know that I go from 0 to 100 real quick, but I'm not here to do this. I'm certainly not about to fight with you over what? Because I'm still thinking to myself, like, what are you so mad about? Like, what is happening? So I just blamed it on liquor. I'm like, she's probably just an aggressive drinker or something like that. You know, if you mix alcohol, and knowing Frank's a bartender, so he probably had his daring with tequila, with whiskey, knowing him, and everybody's just taking back shots. I'm still very much sober, okay? Very much sober. I probably had a drink at this point. So she's running around me in circles, and the boys kind of are like blocked off, like, you're not going to touch her. She's running in circles, trying to get at me, like, yelling. Back. I think, was it Phil that took her downstairs to, like, get her out the way? Frank, and then of course Naim comes up to me and was like, "Yeah, shut the fuck up, you're a shit starter." Da, 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 da. And they make her leave, and then we just continue to have a good time. But then the next day, I told production what happened, because the next day was, okay, here's the timeline. The next day was meet the friends. So I'm meeting Frank the next morning. He's meeting my two friends. And I'm talking to production like, listen, this is what happened yesterday. Can you give me her phone number? Because I at least want to squash it. I'm a girl's girl at the end of the day. I know that sometimes tempers can run wild when you're drinking. Let's just squash it, because we don't have to be friends, but I'm going to have to see you and interact with you at some point. So I call her and I'm like, hey, blah, blah, blah. I think you had a little bit too much to drink. And I think with that, when I said that, she was triggered. She was like, you don't know. Blah, blah. Hang up. So with the attempts of wanting to squash it, that didn't go anywhere. And then you see us at the women's lounge that Monday, where she's laughing at me when we're talking about connections, shrinking and expanding. And I'm like, you know, maybe the guys aren't ready to shrink because, you know, I just got here and they're trying to get to know me. And then she starts to giggle. And I'm like, what are you laughing at, girl? And I didn't mean girl because that's just how I talk, like, hey, girl, what's up, sis? I didn't mean it to be malicious or to talk down on her, but she took it that way. You will address me as Zadia. And that's why I'm like, Zadia, because I'm always going to make something light. Like, it's not that deep.
It's still my favorite point of the show.
It's not that deep.
Zadia.
But that's it in a nutshell.
Okay, we're going to need to rewind, okay, because that was a great recap. We need to rewind. Okay, so first and foremost, this lap dance that wasn't a lap dance. You're dancing to 42 Dog. Your dance. Okay, I just need a description.
Sitting down, right? Let me just imagine somebody sitting down. You're just like,
Okay, but how close? Okay, so was your back to Cornelius? Was your front to Cornelius? I'm just trying to get an understanding here.
It's so insane. I honestly don't even remember, because it was not even like a big thing. It was just like, we're vibing, like, and he's just sitting there like this.
So basically, he's enjoying.
He didn't. This is the thing. He didn't push me away.
Yeah.
Kamil didn't say anything to me. That's why I was so confused. I'm like, what's going on here? How the vibe just shift?
I get it.
She didn't say anything. She didn't say anything. We didn't even address it until the retreat. The retreat. And that's when Mean was like, I really would like us to all squash everything. And I was like, okay, I don't mind talking to her because I didn't do it on purpose. I didn't even know they were together. So I went up to her and I was like, hey, if I made you feel any type of way by dancing on Cornelius, I want to apologize because I had no clue you were together. She said, that's all I wanted, thank you so much. But I don't know how they're going to edit, but you may see that I did say some bad things about you with green screen. I talked about how you spoke. I talked about you and Courtney, is what she said. I talked about how you spoke, and I said that you talk like a white girl, like a valley girl. And I was like, okay, you're a teacher. The fact that you're trying to be a bully and I guess belittle my tone, considering I might have a high pitch, but whatever. I just disregarded it. Because at this point, I'm thinking, I already see where you're coming from. All right, so you knew my ex. You knew me from that. Now you're upset that I was dancing on Cornelius. Now I'm seeing that you were giving me the stank eye at the pool as soon as I walked in. It's just all of these factors that are coming together that kind of shapes her character. Then it's like the snide remarks at the ladies' lounge, the way that she would turn her nose up whenever we talked about something that she didn't like. It's just all framing this picture in which she is, like this colorful illustration. So, yeah, she was a lot. She was very draining. That retreat was exhausting. I needed an entire week of just don't contact me, don't call me after that retreat. It was a lot.
We're going to address the a bit more in terms of your kind of communications with Kamil and Zadia a little bit, but I want to not skip because I you know what, there are things that you're saying that I can't skip it. Like for instance, Zadia is being, first of all, so we got to have Phil here doing Save the Day again. Phil, shout out Phil again, because he had to obviously shepherd Zadia away so that it doesn't become more of a problem. That's the first thing. Second thing is Naim then comes up and says you're a SIHIT stirrer.
Shut the F up.
Oh, STFU first.
Shut the F up, Sidney. You're a stir. And a starter.
Okay, and so that happens, and then so does anybody say anything to him?
No, I think Walter may have said something to him later on. Maybe I don't know. But again, I'm a girl and I know not to address a man. So I'm just like, you know what? If you are a man willing to talk to me like that, I should have, because I look at him as a woman now. But I just at that point in time, I'm like, I have this girl running in circles, and then here comes her little sidekick. Like it was too much. I was just like, that's why I was like, I'll just deal with you later. Like you're a small fry. Like, I've never even heard you speak, and this is the first thing you're going to say to me? A joke.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's okay. So, okay. I get it. Because I'm trying to think, because obviously a man comes up to you, says those kind of things to you, and then still no one's kind of saying anything, no one's really kind of checked him then.
I think it's because a lot of the men also said, we didn't hear him say it, because they're worried about the Tasmanian devil running in circles, running around, like trying to get to me, that they didn't, it was just too much chaos going. So when I did tell the guys, they were like, we didn't even hear him say that. I think that's, I don't know. I mean, my girlfriend heard him say it. I think Walter or Frank may have, but it was too much chaos to be like, watch what, like, when liquor is infused with men, testosterone, ego, that would have turned into another thing. So I'm happy they didn't address him. And honestly, if they did address him, the way that his mentality is set up, it would have went in one ear and out the other, seeing how he acts at the reunion. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I get that now. Okay. Just wanted to clear those little incidents up there as well. Okay.
It's a lot.
It is a lot. Man. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Okay. So, so then obviously from that moment then let's talk a little bit more, a little bit lighter then. You get a connection with our boy Phil, you know what I'm saying, the diamond duster, you know what I'm saying, the gent. You get a connection with Phil. What is it that drew you to Phil? Because what we saw on the cut, you saw my review. I went in. I said, Sidney just wants
I saw your review.
I said Sidney just said Sidney. I said Sidney said play a game. I said because the way they put it, I'm gonna be honest. The way they put it, I'm gonna say, well, if that's what it was, then she was she wanted the attention from Phil. The one that didn't give her the attention, that's the one she wanted. That's the way they kind of put it.
Okay, but this is Phil's like demeanor. He likes to sit back, scope, and he's not going to be thirsty. So it's like, all right, I know she's the new girl. I'm gonna let them go ahead and talk to her. And who's to say? I don't know if he would have came to me, but I was just like, ooh, he's fine. Like, he's handsome. And he asked me for my number first. As I went down, he was talking. Actually, let me paint this clear. He was sitting with Courtney first. So I'm like, let me go and finally talk to Courtney and see the cutie. So he and Courtney are conversing, and Courtney's like, I'm gonna just go ahead and let y'all vibe for a second. And she walks off. And that's when we sat down, had our connection. We had great like preliminary conversation, and then got my phone number. And from that, the first day, that's when we had the ball rolling. So we had been in contact. It just may not look that way on camera, but yeah.
I just want to do a little test. I mean, what was your connection like with Frank?
What do you mean?
That's what I needed.
You said a test.
That's what I needed. That was what I needed. The smile that you gave when I said Phil's name, different. Girl, I mean, the whole room lit up. I'm sure Phil's blinded. Okay, so why did you connect? What was it about Frank also that you connected with Frank? Because, like I said, obviously you guys knew of each other. So, I ain't gonna lie, there was kissy going on. So I was confused.
Okay, so
talk to me.
I gave Frank a kiss where it's like, hey, you know, it wasn't the same type of kiss that I was kissing, like how I was kissing Phil. I wanted to make that clear.
Does Frank?
I mean, yes,
because that kiss.
To be completely honest, what you all didn't see on camera is that Frank and I sat down and we had a date where we both said, listen, we're gonna be the best of friends, but I said I have feelings for Phil. He's like, I have feelings for Ramin, and it was amicable. It was easy, right?
He said he had feelings for Ramin.
But we, you know, Frank, Phil, and I, we would always go and hang out together. So Frank would like literally whisper in my ear, like, "You don't hold me like that. You don't hold my hand like that. You're not kissing me like that." And I was just like, so he already knew. Outside of the process, outside of our journey, he already knew what was going on.
I mean, Sidney, the kiss where you're in front of your friends, that don't look like that wasn't a. They didn't feel like it looked like there was a.
I'm European. We kiss like. So if you saw me if you actually saw the scene, you saw me go like this. Initially, because somebody had written, "Oh, that was a church kiss," kind of, sort of. Girl, like,
that is not a church. Listen, you girl, you better not. I'm European too. That is not.
Frank. This is why. To go back to why I liked Frank. Frank and I are very much alike. So it felt like I was hanging out with a male version of myself. To be honest, like chemistry, charismatic, bubbly. We light up any room that we're in. Non-judgmental. It's just like the energy and the vibes are there. So naturally, if you're that type of person, you're gonna connect and have an amazing just chemistry with someone similar to you. So naturally, I gravitated to him. And honestly, I could not have done this journey with any two other men. These two men were the best for me. Yeah. Frank was another little security blanket, because I'm like on the phone with him like, oh, well, what do you think is like? He's like, girl, are we gonna talk about Phil, or are we gonna talk about like, I'm coming to him for advice towards the end. I'm talking to him about things towards the end. So yeah, he's awesome. We're always gonna be friends for life.
So okay, great. So we established the fact that you yourself, you kind of assessed that you weren't feeling him as much that way. Did you sense that he was feeling you that way though? Because that's a different question.
I think he definitely liked me, but I think that we both, I know we both knew that it was like friendship vibes. Look at how, you have to pay attention to the dynamic between he and Amin. Like, she's all over him, like sitting on his lap. Is he all over her? It was both. It was a combination of both. The scenes that I can remember, like when they were on the park, she's sitting on their lap. they're doing the little Lady and the Tramp.
Is that after you already had the conversation about the fact that you're feeling Phil? That scene where he's in the park with Mameen?
I don't know, because you don't know how edits go. So I don't know. I don't know what dates he's having or anything. I have no clue. But keep in mind, we were all hanging out from day one. I would say from like the second week of me getting on, Frank and I are having conversations like, you don't look at me like that, sis. Like, I know you're feeling Phil. So without giving things away, because we're not supposed to be hanging out with each other outside of filming. We're not, but we're friends.
I get it. So early on, you guys have already established it's not really adapting. That's early on. You've established that you guys, it's not really that for you guys.
I would say middle to end, because at the end of the day, you still want. For me, I wanted to date someone that has like a similar lifestyle to mine, or that can complement it, or that's going to be understanding. Now, Phil, he understands it. He doesn't change anything about me. You know, his background is PR, so he gets like this little. He gets what's going on here, this little brand that I'm creating, that I'm building. Whereas Frank, he's living it too. Like, he has his own brand. He's very successful in his career. He has a lot of accomplishments. So even though I did feel like, you know, this is giving friend vibes, you also want that in your partner. You want that person to be your best friend. So I still was kind of like on the fence until we had our date, which was kind of like edited out, where we sat down and kind of hashed things out and put things on the table. What are you thinking?
Well, I'm just like, you know what? From our perspective, Frank liked you a lot. And listen, Mameen, I'm going to be honest, I'm going to say it because I've said it before. Mameen was second choice. And has always been second choice. And has been a good second choice, but it's not the first choice. That's why I'm like, I know you said that you lot are seeing your brother and sister, but we've heard that many times.
For Frank was on the show, to be honest. And I hate to overtalk you. I just don't even know, because I don't ever want Mameen to be like, oh, first or second choice, because I really feel like it was an even playing ground for us.
I said
she embodies a lot of characteristics that I don't have. I embody characteristics that she doesn't have, but we're both very beautiful, genuine, but we also have characteristics that are the same. That's why he liked us both, right? She's very genuine. She's beautiful. She's very kind, and what you see is what you get from her. So, which is the same with me. But I kind of feel like even at the end, I don't know if the girl who he was really looking for was on the show.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough.
You didn't like my answer?
No. Hey, listen.
Because I was being genuine and honest.
I'm not saying that you are not being genuine. I'm saying that I feel the other person may not feel the way you feel. I think you've made it very clear how you feel. I just don't think the other person may feel the same way you feel. And that's what I'm saying. And that's what I'm saying. Well, that can be an offline convo.
So you're messy. Messy. Mm-hmm.
Do you know what it is? This is Ready to Love. This is a show, but this is real life. And in real life, there is no second. What I mean by this is, whenever we do relationships, right? Yeah, and I say this to the audience all the time. If you like someone, right? Everyone has like orders, 1 or 2 or 3 people they're dating. Mm-hmm. 2 and 3, okay, are not your real choices. They are there to make up numbers. Okay, they are there to make up time. Okay, because your number 1 is who you really, really want, right? Number 2 might get a chance.
What if you have 1A and 1B?
People always say 1A, 1B. What's 1A and 1B? Okay, what would 1A, 1B?
Because I want to make them equal. And it's just like, oh, damn.
There's no such thing. There's no such thing.
I've been in situations like that before.
What, 1A, 1B?
Mm-hmm.
Where both of them.
Situations like that before. It's just like, oh God, who do I go with? But then you continue dating. You don't. This is my thing. What I'm not gonna do is rush into something. I don't care if this is Ready to Love. This is not like The Bachelor, where it's like at the end I'm getting a diamond, hopefully 5-carat diamond ring. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Just kidding.
No, you ain't kidding, girl. It's okay. You need a 5K ring. Say it again.
But this is it's the journey, or the way that I interpret it is like where you're open and you're ready to possibly love in this journey with someone that you're open to get to know more outside of the process. Yeah, so that's what I did.
Mm-hmm. No worries at all. No worries at all. It's good that you like the 5K ring. I hope the person heard you. As well. Okay, so let's talk back. Let's go back to the Frank connection because it was really good connection. We got to see you guys towards the end. We didn't see it. It was more towards the end that we got to see more of a connection. Like I said, because obviously I think they, how the show kind of put it. The whole wet your whistle situation.
So corny.
I mean, it worked, right? You secured.
And my friends are like, how do you come up with these little sayings? What's your whistle, smitten kitten? I'm like, y'all know I have things to say. I'm just a girl. Like, I don't know. Give him a peach. Well, that was from the Real Housewives of Atlanta. It was just really fitting at that moment.
Yeah. What is it about Phil that drew you to Phil? Like, specifically, like, what is it? What does Phil do that makes Sidney go, yes, Phil is the one?
Well, he's very charming.
Come on now.
It was the butterflies. Like, a woman wants to feel, especially when you're meeting someone brand new for the first time. It's just like, okay, you're gonna base it off how they make you feel, like, inside. So I was always, I rarely ever get nervous when I meet people or when I go on dates, and I would look forward to seeing him. He's big, so I felt like so tiny when he would give me a hug. He's really smart. He would give me great advice. We have similar backgrounds. He's Caribbean. My dad's from Barbados. His family's from Haiti. My dad's from Barbados. So we had similarities in that aspect, and just like how he trusted me to talk about certain things, and I trusted him too. So besides us clearly being attracted to each other, it was I don't know. It was a lot of things, you guys. It was a lot of things. Okay, we're on the phone for hours.
You mentioned quite a few things.
He's a protector. He made me feel good, and I didn't feel any of that. I haven't felt that even outside of this journey in a long time. So yeah, I go based off of, you're gonna go based off of a vibe. When this isn't somebody for you, and you also know a woman's intuition says everything.
So for you, feel you guys chose each other at the end as well. It was cute, y'all. Had a little kissy kiss at the end as well. You know what I'm saying? You look into the sky again, girl. You look like you're in dreamland.
No, because I'm just
Phil. What have you done to her? What have you done to our sis? Huh? Girl, you out here looking at the sky like...
No, because I was thinking about the I Chose You scene, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. Like, I always get so like, we were kissing on TV. My grandparents are going to watch this.
And they're going to love it. They're going to love it.
But no. Huh?
They're going to love it.
Yeah, they did like it. They did
like. Whoa, Phil met your family. What was that? I know that we got a little. You see the show, obviously edited it, but
they loved him. Phil has been around my family multiple times. My mom, he has wooed Gabby several times. Like, my mom absolutely loves him. He's met my aunties. We had a brunch here, and he brought them all roses. He loves to send flowers, but I love flowers, so he got all three of them roses. They were like, "Oh my God, for me!" They were like, "Oh, just sit down. We like him already. He's tall. He's handsome. He's got a great career. We're sold. Where's the ring?" But he still hasn't cooked for me yet. So I'm still going through my list of things that he has to knock off.
Just make sure you keep a doctor close by on the phone if he cooks for you. You know what I'm saying? You gotta make sure you're alive. Love you, bro. Okay, so you guys' connection is real. I love it. It seems deep. It seems genuine as well. On the reunion, this is the only thing I had. No, it wasn't you. It was Phil. I'm going to get him. Okay. On reunion, there's a question that was asked about what you guys are doing. Basically, what are you guys gonna be? Or something about exclusive or whatever. And the answer that came back, I'm not gonna lie to you, might have been edited, but it was unsatisfactory for me. Okay, because I just wanted to hear, yeah, we're exclusive, we're dating, we're moving forward, we're going, do you know what I mean? And the answer I got was a bit higgy to the haggy to the hag. Meaning it was a bit all over the place. So I wanted to find out, maybe put a bit of pressure on both of you. What is the situation? Are we exclusive? Are we not exclusive? Are we still trying to find out where we're going? What is the cause? Where are we at now?
I would say that we're doing it at our own pace. Like, I don't want to hop in a relationship just because it's going to make y'all feel okay. It's about me and him. You know what I mean? And I don't mean that in like a shady or nasty way, but I'm not. I have always hopped into these relationships, and here I am, a 5-year relationship that didn't work out, a 3.5-year relationship that didn't work out, and we literally hopped into these relationships after dating for 3 months. And I feel like the next relationship I'm going to be in, he's going to be my husband. So I'm dating with the intent of being married and having kids. Yeah, so I'm just taking my time with it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I hear what you're saying. So, because on the interview that you had with Crystal,
you gotta learn from your past at some point. You know what I mean? It would be so easy for me to be like, okay, guess what, Phil? You know, we've got this great connection. Everything, our vibe is perfect. We're together. Let's do these interviews together. Let's write it out. And then it's just like, okay, then, you know, he does something or I do something where it's just like, you know, it's a transition where it's just like, I didn't know that she was going to respond to this like that. And it's just like, okay, now we have this public breakup. It's just, I want to live life in the real world outside the cameras. Yeah.
That's what you're saying. Okay. Last question on this actual aspect.
Okay.
Basing it on the interview that you had with Crystal a few days ago. Are people open still to dating other people at this moment?
Well, you said our people, so did you want him to answer the question along with me?
I mean, if he wants to, but I mean, I'm asking for your side.
I don't think that we're like dating other people. Would you say that? He said no. What is this little, you know?
Hey, I'm just nodding my head. I'm just nodding my head, Sidney. I'm just nodding my head here, darling. Don't worry, it doesn't mean anything. You know, like that the therapist starts writing. He's not writing anything. He's just.
Are you a therapist?
I'm not. No.
I told you he was not a therapist. He was like, he's a therapist, and I was like,
but I can be. You know what? For a lot of people, I can be a therapist. You know what I'm saying? For the right price.
You get advice.
Okay, guys, I can say that. Say that. What is your sign? Can I ask you a couple questions?
Cancer.
Oh, you're a baby.
Oh.
Wait, what's wrong with cancer? Wait, talk to me. What's wrong with cancer? What you're not gonna do for me? What you mean? Wait, what's wrong with cancer?
Are you a July Cancer?
No, I'm a June.
Okay, so we'll let that slide.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I haven't had a good run-in. We haven't had good run-ins on Cancer.
Wait, seriously? Oh,
I'm a Sagittarius.
Why is that? What's the? Oh, yes. Oh,
we are rated the #1 sign in the world.
They've lied
we
to
are
me.
the best.
And that's always a Sagittarius lie. That's a Sagittarius lie. That is a Sagittarius.
Ask Google who is
the person who wrote that's a Sagittarius.
Sagittarius. Terror. According to Justin LeBoy, we're terrors. Whoever dated him in the DMV that was a Sag broke his heart. Every bad meme is about, I bet you the Sag. I'm like, damn, what we do to you?
Nah, do you know what? I'm gonna allow you. Sagittarius though, I'm not gonna lie to you, a bit wild still. I don't know. When it comes to cancers, you're actually right. From what I've seen and what I've researched around this thing, I don't really do too much of it, but yeah, cancers and Sagittarius, some are alright, but it seems to be we butt heads a lot. I don't know what it is. It may just be you guys. I don't know. Maybe you guys are not really compatible.
But my moon sign is a Leo, so it's a double fire sign for me. It's a lot.
Oh, yeah, that's the thing. You're fire. You see, I'm more water. So I can understand.
But you know, yin yang.
Bit of a clash. Yeah, I don't like fire people though. Yeah. Y'all roll from 0 to 100 too quickly for us, to be honest. A bit too fast. Sorry, I got Anyway, so okay, so final kind of questions. I'm gonna leave the Phil stuff alone now. All right.
Okay, great. Thanks.
I've blown him up now. So okay, so but we do have to discuss something. So you had some run-ins with some of the ladies. it wasn't the most pleasant of situations. As you mentioned a little bit in terms of the Zadia situation running across on that. The BGS, Brown Girl Squad. The
BGC.
Brown Girl Squad.
BGS, Brown Girls for Life.
Yes. I want to kind of get your in your words what your experience was of the Brown Girl Squad.
My experience.
Yeah, man.
I mean, y'all
From
can
your
see the
own
experience
words.
on the TV. It was just a lot worse.
But
My experience with them. Okay, so let's do pros and cons. I thought that Kamil brought a lot of entertainment to the show with her faces. Honestly, sitting in the women's lounge and watching her be like, that was hilarious because we are there for hours. And sometimes, it can get a little tense. Some of the women, when they're explaining how their dates went or why they're not, vibing with a particular man, it can get long-winded and boring. But Kamil, I always sat across from her. She had me dying, and I'm literally trying to pinch myself so I wouldn't bust out laughing in the middle of this serious scene. So I'll say that in the beginning, it didn't seem problematic, but it seemed like towards the end when we were shrinking and they had their alliance of, they came to me at the house and they asked me, who are you going to put in your bottom? Because initially 2 men were supposed to go home. We were supposed to vote 2 men off. So they're like, we're going to put Dante and Walter at the bottom. And I'm thinking to myself, why are you putting Dante at the bottom when Zadia, that's your first pick? And Walter was supposed to be Lamin's first pick or her top. Like, why are we doing that? And so they keep asking me, and I'm like, if y'all think I'm about to tell the ops, because y'all have the ops to me, who I'm putting at my bottom, you're out of your mind. So I was like, all right, this is a game to y'all. You're not really here to find love. They would always be like, we're making it to the end. We're going to sit on the couch next to Tommy. They always just say that. So I'm just like, this is pretty lame. But thanks for thinking that we're friends and tell me the inside scoop. Because now I'm going to go let my bro Walter know, hey, this is what's going on. Like, you either need to step it up. And then it was like, oh, so Zadia, you're mad because Dante paid you dust at the house. Dust. He did not pay attention to her at all. As soon as we got in there, I was like, whoa, the shit had changed. It was Aisha and Dante in the kitchen, nestled up, making vegan green juice that was fire, making all the dinners. I barely saw them. They were literally coupled up the entire time. So I'm like, okay, now I see what they're doing. But when you do evil things behind closed doors, it's going to always bite you in the ass because guess who went home? Cornelius, then Kamil, then Zadia, and then bye-bye Naim because he had no connections with anybody. Yes.
The energy. Wussa. I feel it. Was it that much? I mean, for the ladies.
This is how I bring my chi down.
Going up and down, up and down. Was it because I mean, obviously we've heard from different sources, that as you kind of just confirmed that there was a little bit of game playing, strategy, but the word was it at any point intimidating the environment?
Listen.
Okay.
When I say that I got emotional, it's because for me, I came on the show and my parents said, don't do 2 things. Don't beat anybody up and don't drink too much. Don't embarrass us, basically. Yeah. So for me, it's like, I'm not going to go to jail and have an assault charge because of these women. Because as much as it's all bark. It's never going to be any bite. And as nice as I am, I don't talk. Okay, I'm about that action, period. So I was just like, it gets to a point where it's like the catty and the bickering and catty. I am not used to that. I come from a household full of brothers. They're beating each other up and they're friends in 2 seconds. I can literally remove myself from a situation and go home. But I'm at this house where we're hours away and I can't leave. I literally left that dinner table so frustrated and angry and irritated, get me out of here now. So it's not like I kind of feel like no one could have swayed my opinion, and I'm way too wise. I knew it was just Shiloh. It's more of the girls, it's more girls that have separate connections where Cornelius and Naim are not in their tops, and they needed my votes to keep their men from going home. So I knew what they were doing. You have to be wise. I'm like, okay, if you're playing a game, let me be 2 steps ahead of you. You know what I mean? But I'm really tired of talking about them. Can we move on, please? That's draining for me.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's very, very draining for me.
I understand. There is one more question I got asked. This is my final kind of question. You know what I'm going to ask, innit? Because I haven't asked it yet. So obviously the situation we saw, obviously Phil and Shiloh. Now, you took a very interesting approach, and I talked about it in my review. Because I said it was kind of an impossible situation. It felt like putting you into, because once information comes, you kind of got to act on it almost. I want to know from your perspective. This is your perspective, right? The information that comes, how was it presented to you ladies at first? I want to know how it's presented to you, the information.
Okay. All right. So let's just start. So the Saturday that everybody went out, I was supposed to also, Courtney is twin. So of course I was invited to the birthday party, but it was raining. I had just come from a date and I'm like, I'm not going to go. I had spoken to Phil. He was like, I'm not sure if I'm going to go. But then he was like, you know what? I'm going to go buy Courtney a couple shots for her birthday. So he ends up going to Rose Bar. Okay. I knew Shiloh was at Courtney's house. I know they were riding together. Tyrone was there. So he gets there. Phil gets them a couple rounds of drinks. He and Shiloh had a conversation on the way when they were on their way to Rose Bar that kind of got heated. He didn't want to talk about it. And I'm hearing this from some sources, okay? He didn't want to talk about it because other people were around. So he was like, we'll talk about this later. She kept going. So, you know, he ends up coming to the party. So she's still holding on to that animosity of the conversation. She's holding on to animosity of him not picking her. You know, I feel like she doesn't know how to handle rejection. Like, it's just like rejection comfortably. And she's also very emotional because, I mean, she cried about Tyrone going home. Said she knew him for like, what, 2 weeks? Why are you crying about this? It's just, you knew this was going to happen at some point. A connection of yours may have went home. So I'm looking at it like, all right, this is all happening. I hear about them getting into a little mini argument. It's 5 o'clock in the morning and it's raining. I thought it was small. And he actually told me, he didn't even really tell me. He was just like, yeah, there was a situation with Shiloh. Don't worry about it. So I didn't think much about it until the next day. So he's talking to me about it on was it a Wednesday or Thursday? But the next day we had to film the women's lounge. And that's when Shiloh comes to me and I'm like, oh, this is what happened. This is what he said was literally water under the rug to him, right? She tells me her story, and it really felt like heartfelt. She was crying, and as someone that's dealt with domestic violence, I could feel her pain, and I never want to diminish anybody's feelings or discredit them. So initially, I listened to her, and as you can see my face as she's talking and replaying everything, I'm shocked. I'm like, what? Because I could never in a million years see Phil doing that. Just like how he's always like trying to diffuse everything. That's just Phil. Like, you saw when I said, can one of y'all men check him? You saw all he did was just, y'all couldn't see it on camera, but all he's doing is like rubbing my leg, like, calm down. It's okay. It's just Naim. But yeah, as she's telling me the story, I'm still in shock, but I'm still like, damn, I just can't, like, what the hell happened? But you know, whatever we do in either the men's lounge or the women's lounge has to stay there. You're not supposed to go outside and talk about it. So that's why I asked if I had her permission. She said yes. So of course I'm going to talk to him about it. And he was like, listen, I would never, ever put my hands on a woman because I know how he feels about domestic violence. I know he is absolutely against it. He said, Sidney, what do you want me to do? It's raining. The girl's emotional. I mean, I know it was Courtney's birthday, and this is Miss Rose Bar, okay? It's her birthday. I know they're lit. So I can only imagine with the emotions that she's going through on top of the alcohol that it had gotten out of hand. And I know Phil is not going to let a woman go walk down an alleyway, especially where Rose Bar is. It's literally like dead ends everywhere, but really shady, by herself. At that time of the hour. First of all, Rose Bar closes at 3. Y'all should have been left by like 3:45. Now it's 5 o'clock and it's raining. and Courtney's waiting for you, get to the car. So I'm sure he was like, all right, this is enough. We can talk about it later. I know how he is. Let's talk about it when you're not drunk, when we're having a sound mind conversation. And that was that. So when I heard his perspective, when I talked to Courtney about it, I felt like, okay, well, she also did say I didn't feel physically hurt. It was more emotionally hurt. So I'm like, you're really playing a game right now, sis. Because right now what you're doing is you're ruining his name on television. You know, you're going back and forth like, oh, well, he put his hands on me and I didn't like it, but I don't feel hurt. But I told him not to touch me and I didn't want to go to the car. But it was a lot. This is probably the most that I've spoken on it because I just want to say my words wisely.
I understand. Totally understand.
You know what I mean? I just really don't want to discredit her, but like she said, she wasn't physically hurt. So that's at the bottom line. She wasn't physically hurt. It was more emotionally, and we can get past that with counseling. But I'm still confused because if you are a sensuality coach, you should be able to understand body language, and you should be able to differentiate when somebody wants to talk about something and when we should just back off and just let it ride.
I'm with you. That's what I wanted to ask. I just wanted to get your perspective because I think it was. I said in the review that I felt like it was an impossible kind of situation you're put in.
Very. You're damned if you do. You're damned if you don't.
Precisely. So I did think it was difficult. Well, one for Phil, and then I think it was difficult for you too, because then you're putting in the whole women's got to support women's kind of situation. But then obviously, you know, his guy, it's like very difficult between a rock and a hard place situation as well.
Yeah, had Courtney not been there, I would have really been in a it would have been tricky. It would have been really tricky for me. But I mean, she added another little source to the situation. So.
Totally understand. All right, let me leave that then. Okay, so I want to just say, you know, what was your greatest learning, or should I say, greatest thing that you learned from being in this process?
It wasn't something that I learned. I would just say that I would give myself like a pat on the back for like remaining true to myself the entire time. I never was not myself. I'm Sidney with the men, with the women. I didn't come on the show to be catty. I didn't come on the show to make women feel uncomfortable or to belittle women. So I'm just really proud of myself, you know? In intense situations, you can sometimes like hop out of character. And I was very mindful of how I would look and how people would perceive me. Now, not everybody's going to like me based on how I dress or how I speak, but I can get past that. But my character literally spoke for itself.
And is there anything you would do differently had you had a second chance, apart from going earlier?
Oh, besides going on earlier?
Yeah, sorry, can't use that.
Yeah. No. I feel like I handled the situation, which is hard for everyone. Yeah. This entire process is hard for everybody, especially if you're not used to being in an environment with cameras or even having a large platform where people can talk about you. It's just a lot to deal with. I feel like I handled myself with grace. I mean, everybody's human. It's like sometimes you want to be like, fuck you, hate you. Oh, I just said that you don't know me. But it's just like, I feel like I handled myself with grace. I came on the show with an intention of meeting someone who was going to love on me and who I was going to love on back. And I found that. So I'm happy with everything.
Love that. All right. Is there anything you'd want us to support? Anything that you want us to get behind? Any initiatives that you would like us to, know about?
Okay, so you guys, I partnered with the med spa. It's called Care Life. Right now we are offering chemical peels for the month of January. You get 15% off of your chemical peels. I'm going to go live. We were going to go live on Thursday, and I was going to start my treatment, but it's going to snow here. So we're going to do it next week. If you don't know what a med spa is, it's a non-invasive like medical office where we do all things like Botox, fillers, lasers, peels, cold sculpting. But we also have primary care on the other side. If you don't have any insurance, we can get you set up with that too. But with that, and of course I have Shop Fever. We're relaunching in May. We're going to do a resort line. But I have everything that I do. I mean, if you want me to promote your brand, slide in my DM. We can collab. Let's get you to make some money with me.
Gentlemen, for business. Nothing
It's
more,
all
London.
business over here. But yeah, that's basically it. What else do I have? Yeah, that's all I can think of. Spa, clothing line, collabs. Yeah, that's it. And feel free to, we're starting the YouTube. I need all of the questions. I need people to slide in my DM and let me know what you want to see for my YouTube. Maybe you and I can do a collab. I'll have to come to London.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
Let me know.
We'll have to go to my girlfriend's restaurant. It's called Bougie. You know Lystra?
No, I don't.
From the Real Housewives of Cheshire?
No, I don't.
Oh, God, yeah. Do you ever go to, Manchester, Liverpool? Where do you live?
I'm in Birmingham.
You're in Birmingham? Oh. Did you ever go to the Club 101?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I hosted there before. I love Birmingham.
You love Birmingham? Listen. Let me keep my mouth shut. Yes, listen, Birmingham's a good area. It's a very nice area. You know what I'm saying? Look at the audience. They're really going mad. Listen, Birmingham's a very nice area. When you come down, bring Phil with you. We'll have a good time.
Phil. He wants to get over to London very soon. Sarah said she wants to come too and meet you. She wants to battle you.
She wants to battle me.
She's Sierra Leonean, so she was like, "Oh, he dances, girl."
Listen.
And I was like, "Girl, I know."
I hope you're ready, Sarah, for the waist. The waist. I hope you're ready. I'm the minister of the waist. I hope you're ready. So
I love your dancing, though. I really do.
Thank you, Sarah. I appreciate it, man. Okay, listen, look, Sidney, you've been a great interviewee because, like I said, you have a great energy.
Thank
and
you.
I think just even looking at the audience as well, they have taken to you as well. I think it's just you're a genuinely nice person, and I think that is rare, and it is rare, and I mean the word, it is rare that you get someone who's genuinely nice. You know what I'm saying? So please keep that aura, keep that energy. You know what I mean? Keep it classy as you've been doing, as always, as well. Keep the business going as well. It's beautiful,
Thank you. And I want to say thank you so much for having me.
Right,
because I couldn't wait to sit down with you. I was like, oh, I'm going to get him. And then here I am just like...
No,
you're really sweet. I love this. This is great. I had a lot of fun.
It's appreciated. Audience, listen, it's been another amazing interview. We had some good fun. We've answered some questions. And it's got deep at some points as well. But I want to make sure you guys are appreciated. Thank you for coming through. We are here tomorrow night as well. We have to see ya. And then we're here on Friday night for Amin. And then we're here on Saturday night too for Dante as well. Listen, I'm here all week. Walter's on Sunday. Listen, I'm not breaking. All right. You guys wanted me back from Ghana early. I come back and I'm bringing you the smoke. All right. So until next time, until tomorrow night, we'll love you and leave you. Sidney, thank you once again.
Bye.
I appreciate you. Audience, it's been good. It's been blessed. Make sure you stay